Hello everyone, my name is Danny, and this review is for Samson. Samson, empowered by God with supernatural strength, endangers his destiny with impulsive decisions that lead to betrayal by a wicked prince and a beautiful temptress. When Samson calls on his God once more, he turns imprisonment and blindness into final victory. This is a 2018 movie, rated PG-13. It runs about 2 hours. This stars Jackson Rathbone, Rutger Hauer, Billy Zane, Lindsay Wagner, Caitlin Leahy, and Taylor James. For anyone who is watching this and has not watched a lot of Bible movies, Samson is kind of a different choice to do for a movie, I would say. I wasn't really expecting anybody to make a big blockbuster out of Samson, the story from the Bible, because there's not much intrigue, there's not much craziness about it. He's sort of the leader of his tribe, but nothing like Joseph or David or anything like that. You know, I mean, he doesn't become king of Egypt. It's a great story, but Christians in general aren't so superficial to just think that strength is the greatest weapon that you could ever have. You know, I mean, we're more about being compassionate and understanding and thinking of others. And Samson in this movie especially does not display those features. And so it was just kind of a different choice of what to make for a Christian movie. You gotta kind of be a little bit more well-rounded than just being some strong buffoon, you know. So that's my first point, is I was a little surprised at the choice of what to make for a movie. Spoiler at the end, it looks like they're ready to make one about David. So I'd probably watch that movie, because he is a pretty big figure in the Bible. So my first note is that I don't really appreciate how they painted Samson out. He seems to be more of kind of a very, I don't know how else to say this. He seems to be a very horny playboy rather than some kind of in love, young man. And that's what Bible young men are supposed to be. The guys in Noah seem to play that in love pretty well. And I don't know, there's just a lot of Bible movies, and they all seem to play off that way of looking at a girl as being in love. And Samson just doesn't. It doesn't come across like that. He actually has a line, something about, I'm appreciating God's great work or something when talking about a female. That's not how you're supposed to talk as a Bible character or as a figure in the Bible at all. That's not how it's supposed to come off. That's not what it's supposed to be about. There's a couple other times I just didn't really take this movie seriously, and I was a little disgusted at the way they were handling things. Samson and his first woman, Taryn, they start running on the beach. This comes in the midst of them talking seriously about each other, maybe about their future. Then all of a sudden they just start running off down the beach, like laughing and being giddy and stuff. And then boom, right back to sitting down, talking seriously about stuff. I think it was about marriage was the next conversation. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you so cryptic about, how you're handling things? And you're like, so, and I think superficial is the right word for this movie. just seems like everything seems like what they wanted to do, but they knew they shouldn't be doing it. So, yeah, you have a picture of a couple walking down a beach talking about something very seriously, and in the midst of that, they just, oh, go running off down the beach, acting all happy and stuff. It just didn't fit, you know? And then, yeah, then they have this, like, first kiss, like, soon after that. And I can't. I don't even really want to watch this movie again. But if I did, I'd be looking a lot closer. But it looks like Taryn kisses his like almost upper lip area, and he almost aims for down here on her. It didn't seem like a very compatible kiss. It didn't seem like a very comfortable situation for them. They didn't go for it. I'm surprised they took that as what they wanted for the movie. Like, they could have probably redone that a couple times, but I guess that's what they were going for. I don't know what that was all about. That didn't look sincere at all. And then we just kind of had this with a couple movies lately. Mamma Mia 2 in particular, is that people don't look like what they should be looking like, or they get cast wrong, whatever you want to say. But this Samson, he almost looks like The Rock, and his whole family looks completely white bread. And I'm not sure if they meant to cast it that way, if we're going completely off the fact that Samson was literally a gift from God, but they don't ever try to explain that or anything. But I don't know. I mean, he calls people brother, and I know personally that people that you are in war with, you call brother. You know, back in the Bible times, you could call a close friend brother. I mean, there's a lot of loose terms of brother, but everybody seems to think that these guys are family, and they just look nothing alike whatsoever. I was really surprised at that we're just supposed to buy that. I mean, I was a little surprised. And then there's a couple times where, like I said, Samson comes across more as a playboy. He actually talks to his brother very, very angrily at one point. And he talks to a couple other people very ferociously or sarcastically. It's just not the way that Christians are portrayed. It's just not. I didn't appreciate it. I didn't think that it fit. And I didn't know why nobody was directing this guy, saying, hey, that's not how people talk. You know, like I know our movie is going for one thing, but you can't talk like that. That's all that it takes. You know, it's for them to do another take with him being a little bit more calm or more wise about what he's doing. I mean, he is this, you know, kind of disciple of Christ that he bestows this gift. I mean, you'd think he'd be a little bit more wise and a little bit more calm about how he acts and how he talks to people. I just didn't appreciate the way he did things. And then I appreciate them trying to stay on track with how the Bible tells the story of Samson. So when everybody in his village wants war, he literally just wants to be with a female, so he decides to go just do that. It's like, that seemed pretty pathetic in a movie. I think most people who don't know the story of Samson very well from the Bible would be like, what's he doing? They're talking about going to war. He should be in the war room planning a attack or something. He just wants to go be with a female. What? I mean, that was pretty pathetic. So, I know that's what it was in the Bible. I know that's how it kind of happened, but the way that this movie portrays it just is kind of sickening, to be honest. Okay, now we get into the real meat of the subject here. Things that are not portrayed as the Bible tells it. Okay? Like, every movie has their own way of doing things, and sometimes it's way off, and it's still effective as a movie, but this is what I got as completely wrong from the Bible. Okay? Just like two things. The first thing is that the way the Bible reads is that Delilah was given money from, I don't know, not really the prince, but like people that are, the Palestinians is fine. We'll just say that they're kind of the Palestinian leaders. So it was kind of a situation where she was just kind of given money and she was lower class and they just picked her out to go to Samson and trick him and everything. And so I didn't like the whole her and the prince relationship. It's not like she was, it's not assumed that she was part of the throne and part of the castle. And I didn't like that her character was portrayed that way. I don't think that's right whatsoever. And then the fact that it takes a while, like after what is done, that she mentions that she got paid money. I would have appreciated that being actually shown. Like, here, we're going to give you this much, go do this. But she's like ordered to go do it. She's told that she's going to go do this. It's planned as some kind of scheme and big elaborate plan from the stupid prince. And I didn't really appreciate that either. I would appreciate a little bit more biblical way of telling the story where he gives her some money, she goes off and does the thing. And that would have been a lot more appropriate way to handle it. And then the other thing, and I don't know why this movie decided to do the thing they did. I mean, maybe the guy looked better the wrong way, but they just didn't want him looking a certain way as a movie character. But it clearly states that Delilah has a servant shave Samson's head. Not in this movie that Delilah sort of cuts his hair. And that's what happens, is that she cuts it so that it's like short like mine, but clearly she doesn't do it. A servant does, and the servant shaves his head and completely, just everything gone. That's what it's supposed to be in the Bible. So they got those two things wrong, and I would have liked the portrayment of Delilah getting paid to be a little bit more obvious. And like I said, the ending is kind of stupid. I've never seen a Christian movie do this, to be honest, that they kind of portray the next planned movie. And so that's kind of original, I guess, that they would suggest another movie or the next saga of this story. So I didn't have a problem with how they handled Samson's big feat at the end. That's fine. It seems like every time he's kind of praying to God, it's kind of like, I know I messed up. Oh, darn it, I messed up. Oh, I really messed up. So I need this one more thing. And that just seemed a little sad too. So all in all, this movie, I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad I saw this depiction of things. It was enjoyable as a story, but the movie really was lackluster and kind of pathetic at times. The fight scenes were just, I had to laugh at one point. It was so silly and so stupid and almost 300 stylish, but it's not anywhere near 300 whatsoever. So it was just kind of silly, and I just kind of laughed. I couldn't take it seriously. It just seemed like kind of a sad depiction of things. So I'm going to give Samson a C, and I'm just sorry that these kind of movies try to stay true to the Bible. I mean, it's not like it had flying giants or, mud monsters or anything like that, like some Bible stories, some Bible movies have had, but it tried staying original to the Bible as much as possible. It just was wrong in a couple areas. So I'm going to give Samson a C. So thanks, everybody. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other reviews, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And enjoy your movies, guys. Thanks.